Okay, if you'll indulge me for just a minute, I'm going to get teacher on you. And I want you to review some data, which is what we do all the time in education. Is we're data driven, and we're looking at data.
I'm not sticking around for a test now.
Oh, well, you probably won't pass it under the new standards.
That's my teacher's fault.
First, let me explain something to you. First, I want to thank the school board and Dr. King for being transparent with the results, because they released those results and we made it on the front page of the paper for people to beat us up. And as you can see in today's paper, Chesapeake announced that they are going to have schools that aren't accredited, and it's already shifted to the second page and nobody's making comments. It's got 3 comments. And I can guarantee you, and I made comments this weekend on the blog, that the other districts in the area that have schools that are not accredited, you will see the schools that come from neighborhoods that have a higher poverty level and what the assault of Virginia Department of Education is on our schools. So what I wanted to do is I took it home to Little Creek Elementary in Ward 5. I had 2 elementary schools in Ward 5 that were not accredited this year, and Little Creek was one of them. But it was fully accredited up until this year. So I wanted to give you some data on this to show you the reason why they are not accredited is because of math. They were accredited last year because they made the 3-year average, and you can see in yellow on here that they made gains in math. But it wasn't enough to keep the 3-year average, so they moved down there. And you can see what the English and science tests have done. And I'm going to tell you, there's probably no other state in the country that has assaulted their school system the way that Virginia has by loading 3 brand new assessments in a 2-year period. Other states have phased them in over time. And so you're not given enough time for, particularly in elementary, that they teach all these subjects to be able to adjust to all these changes that are happening. When you think you're getting math right, now you throw reading and science in, and now you've got to shift over here and try to get that straight, and you lose some focus in math. It's a difficult task. And so you can see here by these results that Little Creek is actually a pretty good school. And the principal there has a great reputation. I hear nothing but positive comments. But if you look on the second page, I want to point out that look at their free and reduced lunch numbers have been increasing. And those that know me, I've been targeting East Ocean View as an area. If you look at the census tract, I want to point out 2 things. One, in green, you'll see that these are the tracts, if they're lighter color, are high poverty areas, low income areas. And then in red, you'll see that these are areas where you have single parent households. This is direct data from census that's been taken last year. But Little Creek Elementary draws almost all of their kids from that area in the Bay Streets. And so when was asked, what can the city do? The work that you and Angela are doing with the Poverty Commission, you should be looking at data like this. And I asked why our rec center there has not partnered with the school system necessarily. We're getting there, but we should be offering Achieve 3000 and My Access and the math programs that we're offering the school at night so that those kids are also getting it there. GED classes or high school level classes for parents who did not complete, we can bring it back into the community. But the other thing I wanted to show you just to see how they've changed, and I put some of the curriculum here so that you can see, but the next page is an example of an old math question and how the math test used to be. You'll see that it's a simple A, B, C, D choice. The answer's there. So that if a kid who's been taught about stem and leaf plots, which I can't even remember, they can at least figure out because the answer's there if they do it. But now flip to the next page and look at the new type of question that they've put on there on the same topic. These students now have to drag these answers into a plot and submit it. So they could miss one component of that and get the whole question wrong. And so when we look at the blame, yes, there are some gaps with how curriculum has come down, but you also need to start at the Virginia Department of Education and how they roll out these standards. They knew, if you look in the test system, they label these tests with 2009. That's the number that they call it, but it didn't come out until 2011. Ask the teachers when they released the sample test items and when they actually released the roadmaps to them. That is an issue. So Bob McDonald can come down here and say that he's upset that we're saying that you can't take over our schools. But I asked them, what has the Virginia Department of Education, who has faced the same budget cuts as the rest of the school systems across the state, they don't have the staff to necessarily offer the professional development to our teachers to be able to prepare them for these standards. And so it's easy if you continue to flip. You can sit there and say 5.15, the student given a problem situation will collect, organize, interpret data in a variety of forms using STEM and leaf plots. But what does that mean for a teacher when they get this? You can release that. But what have you done to help the teachers understand and interpret that and to be able to prepare those kids? You have a lot of our high poverty schools in those areas that are dealing with kids that are coming in well below reading level, and you throw these types of questions in front of them, they're already set up for failure when you haven't even given them the chance to, one, raise their reading level. So we have a lot of work to do, and Dr. King said time. This takes 2 or 3 years. And I can go on about graduation rate and what the state didn't prepare the localities for that, and no help with that assistance. And the schools that you see that are continuously failing, and you're going to see this in Virginia Beach and Chesapeake at the end of September, they come from the neighborhoods where you have lower income households. So we've got to go in there and help in these neighborhoods to address these issues.